This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Gotta get the music turned off here. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Big Tyme. Welcome back. This is the Value Wrestling. This is another episode of the Big Tyme Rants. This is episode 93, I believe it is. And I welcome you to be here. Or thank you for being here. Welcome you for coming. Thank you for showing up. Taking time out of your day, your week, whenever you may be watching this. Welcome to the party. And we're going to cover a little bit of news here going on in the world of professional wrestling. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the big talk is Tony Khan. Pictures of him in the war room for the Jaguars, getting ready for the big draft coming up, showing him in a neck brace. So he is selling this whole attack outside, really continuing the story to the best he can. People love it, people hate it, people think it's bad booking. It's going to be an interesting story on how it becomes or how it comes out to play. But man, what is one to do with what has happened at the end of AEW TV last night? A lot of things that were frustrating. It wasn't a good show. I have a whole Dynamite review, post-show review that's up from last night. Go check that out in our live area. We had a whole live on it. I went about 40 minutes or so discussing everything that happened. It was a piss poor show. It just didn't feel important. And of course, two of the things we're going to talk about, majorly Tony Khan and the ending of this story and what's going to happen here. What are thoughts and processes there? And Swerve Strickland. Wasn't the opening match. There was a segment with Orange Cassidy, Trent Brett, and Chuck Taylor that opened this show to lead to a match that's on Rampage, to a show that nobody's really watching. And then we opened with the first match of being Swerve Strickland versus Kyle Fletcher in an eliminator match, wondering why Kyle Fletcher even deserves an eliminator match when he's not even in the rankings to be a contender. But Swerve Strickland got a wrestling match and then said nothing after the match, got no time before the match. After he had his big crowning moment of beating Samoa Joe at Dynasty, you would have thought there would be a big payoff. You would have thought there would have been something there to hang your hat on, that Swerve would have got a moment. Swerve would have got a moment of celebration. No, the celebration went to Will and Knight, which is well deserved in its own right, to continue a little bit of a storyline that nobody really cares about because we all see where it's going. But Swerve got nothing, and it feels cheapened. And so what's going to happen? Well, Tony Khan, I guess, has heard some of the outcry over this and has decided to give Swerve his moment on Collision on Saturday night after the NBA playoffs, when you're going to have 3 hours of AEW TV. And it's sad because people are going to come watch Swerve, but I think he deserves this moment on the A show, not the B show that barely anybody watches, that the ratings barely hold on to, that you only created for another guy. This is sad. Swerve's getting regulated to the B show. He doesn't get his big moment on Dynamite, where he deserves to have his big moment. Doesn't get to have a celebration coming out of the Dynasty pay-per-view. And then we got a working champion, but a working champion to me is defending the belt, not just having matches. This is not a good look, and Swerve deserves so much more and deserves so much better than what he's getting when he's getting regulated to B show. He is your world champion. Why is he not being presented as your world champion? The IWGP title is your last match on the card, scheduled for the main event, but the main event segment went to Tony Khan. So he outshined the IWGP World Champion Jon Moxley and the AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland. Tony Khan did a storyline attack to close out Dynamite, and not even in a way that really made anybody look good. Tony, I don't know what you say, and now you're regulating Swerve to Collision to give us an interview, just so people will go watch the program. I get the idea. If I can get people to go over there and watch it, then I'm doing something, but that's not where he deserves that moment. Huge decrease in viewership for AEW. Can't deny that. AEW Dynamite drew 683,000 people. A decrease of 762,000. Zeke down almost 100,000 from last week. Down over 100,000 plus from the week before when they used the CM Punk footage. Not a good episode coming out of Dynamite, proving that Tony Khan can't book TV shows. Then Tony Khan sets up an angle with Jack Perry. In the last segment of the show, we see Jack Perry and Tony Khan in the ring, and then Jack Perry gut punches Tony Khan with the mic in the softest punch. I mean, I think my grandma could take a harder bump than Tony Khan. Tony Khan collapses on the floor. Then he gets betrayed by the Elite. We have a new Elite running Rampage. Is this the NWO? Is this what we're going to shoot for? A lot of similarities that people are trying to point to this being the NWO. Who are the babyfaces that are going to take these guys down? Kenny Omega? Hangman Page? MJF? Is this the team Tony's going to line together to stop these radical guys? I don't know if Tony Khan's thought this all the way through. Tony Khan has officially made himself an on-air character. He got attacked on air. If he doesn't come back for redemption, he's really going to look stupid. It's a sad day. It's a sad day. I know a lot of people are going to like this storyline. They're going to let it play out, see where it goes. I think there's some there that could be. I'm just not a fan of the Young Bucks and don't have faith in it. Not when they make Okada look like vanilla, plain, boring, ordinary. Not the Okada that should be coming from New Japan Pro Wrestling, not one of the longest reigning IWGP champions in the world, who has a legacy and a historical value, but it's not being played out in AEW TV. And I don't care if he's playing this heel Okada. It doesn't make sense. He's just very boring, very plain, very ordinary, and trying to get excited behind a man like that, it just doesn't do it. And Tony Khan's got to bring together. Now, we know Omega's coming back next week, so that may be an answer. Is he going to play an on-stream figurehead? Is Kenny Omega going to be a new authority figurehead until he heals to be able to get in the ring? Are they going to line him with Hangman Page again? MJF going to play a role in this? Is it the Elite versus all of AEW? Is this what we're going to get into? Feels kind of WCW, doesn't it? Keep going backwards instead of going forwards. And last night's Dynamite was a terrible show. Overall, it was pitiful. Didn't really execute anything well. Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale. We knew that was coming. Nobody cares. Mercedes Moné hasn't stepped in a ring to wrestle. She started getting a title shot. Tony Khan is everything he doesn't want to be and everything opposite of what he tells you. Oh, I'll never be an on-screen character. Well, he just became an on-screen character last night. The rankings. We're going to use rankings. Rankings will be what will decide our champions. But we had an eliminator match with Kyle Fletcher, who's not even anywhere near the top of the rankings. Hasn't won a match since last October. And Mercedes Moné hasn't even wrestled a match in a damn company. And now she's the number one contender for the TBS title. It can make sense. The only thing Tony Khan's doing right is selling his story by having a neck brace around his neck in the war room, going in the draft day with the NFL. Tony will sell his story, but he won't be able to book it. Sad day. AEW's in trouble. Not financially in trouble. They're not going to go broke and go away, and I don't really want that. I want AEW to succeed and be better, and that's why I'm here and trying to give Tony the true criticism that this just wasn't the right way to play this out. Tony, you should have given Swerve his moment last night. You could have held off on this storyline a little while longer. You could have had the Elite come out of your locker room telling next week we'll meet on Dynamite. We'll have a discussion. That would have drawn people to watch next week on Dynamite. Then you could have built tension. You could have had a conversation where it got into an argument. I think you dropped the ball. I don't think the shock and awe overall, it was a surprising moment, but I don't think you bought in to what could have been the storyline. You should have let the Elite come back and talk in your office. Then you should have set up the meeting between you and Jack Perry next week. And then the next week you could have started this. Are they friends or what are they going to do? You could have, the Elite kind of defend you at first and then turn on you. You could have drawn this out a little longer. Give Swerve his moment now. Draw that out later, but no. No, you want to rush shoot it. And here we are, looking down the barrel of one of the worst Dynamite shows ever, which is pissing on a pay-per-view that you had that's Dynasty that people are talking rave about. Tony Khan can book a great pay-per-view, but he can't book TV, period. Period. This was a horrible show. It was, and it shows in the ratings. And people can say, well, the ratings don't count because they don't count this and that. It does, because it shows people aren't tuning in. It dropped down from the week before. People just don't care. And Tony Khan's not presenting anybody anything to care about. And when we look at Swerve Strickland and see he's being regulated to the B show, he didn't get a moment on Dynamite to celebrate, get on the mic, talk about being champion, or even escalating about who's next or what he thinks should be next or who should be next in his eyes. He didn't get to close off by saying, I beat Joe, now I'm the guy, and now we're going to go here. Swerve should be built up as a strong champion going to All In, and All In should be Swerve versus Will Ospreay. Why is Will Ospreay going to fight Roderick Strong for the international title? It's going to be very interesting how that plays out. So maybe Ospreay's not going to get the world title at All In Wembley this year. I don't know. We'll wait and see, but can we at least make Swerve feel important? The show was garbage. Tony, a major letdown. The only thing that's funny out of that is Shad Khan coming to the ring. Somebody said that he should have dropped the leg drop on him. That would have been hilarious. I think Shad Khan's out there going, tell the boy when he wakes up, where's my money? Where's my money? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that's my opinion. Drop your comments down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you thought about it all. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Did you get a kick out of it? Cool. I just don't think it was good. I don't think it's the right setting. I think Swerve deserved his moment and should have got it. You could have held this off for a week or two. Let this build. Let this stew. Let this build interest instead of just rushing into it. Jack Perry just came back and attacked you. Then the Elite turned on you. And you hadn't really built up anything for the Elite to turn on you. You kept showing the Elite hanging out with you. You weren't really showing the Elite turning on you. You saw them aligning, pulling in Jack Perry, but this storyline could have been stretched out a little further. Hell, you could have had this turn at Dynamite. Or not Dynamite. You could have had this turn at Double or Nothing. There you go. That's what I was shooting for. Could have had this turn at Double or Nothing. Could have drawn the storyline all the way out till then. Could have had you meet with Jack Perry next week in the ring. Had Jack Perry take you out, then had the Elite come out and confront him and take him away. And then have them bring him back next week, and you could have been questioning where their allegiance was, and slowly build and let this simmer and let people get a little interest and invested in it. Instead of a quick turn, and you're laid out looking like a chump. Sad day. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. If you liked it, all this, cool. If you didn't, let me know why you didn't like it. Let me know why you liked it. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you ring the bell for notifications whenever we come out with new content. Tomorrow we'll be here with Mr. Paulus Clark for your SmackDown post-show review. The first night of the WWE draft is taking place. We're going to break all that down for you, so be here tomorrow night. Make sure you ring that bell so you know when we go live. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Join the Value Wrestling family. Join the fastest growing, biggest, best wrestling podcast that's out there, because we're coming to be the number one in this game. We are going to be number one. We're going to be number one in the wrestling podcast business, and you can believe that. We are coming because we're not here to be pretenders. We're here to be contenders. You can believe that. I swear I can talk and get my words out of my mouth. Sometimes I mumble. I get that, but stuff happens. I thank you for being here. I thank you for joining us. I hope to see you on the next one. Let me get us out of here.